welcome back to our 30 Days Ramadan series hosted by me, Dawud Kande, and my lovely wife, Numsokaba.
Hey guys, welcome back. You know, we're very excited to be here every single night. I don't know why I was so loud. I'm just excited, but we're excited for the discussions. We're excited to learn. Like we're only on a couple days in and I've learned a ton. And really trying to be intentional to be productive this Ramadan and to learn more, revisit the surahs that, you know, you don't necessarily read often, revisit the definitions, read do some different research to understand more of the context, right? Like this is a journey. And so we're excited to be here. And honestly, like this is something I might even want to do every Ramadan where we go through the Quran and maybe not even wait till Ramadan.
Yeah,
you know,
like if we,
you know, we do. I would love to have like, you know, Islamic studies and stuff with close friends and close groups and stuff like, you know, on an ongoing basis. But anyways, we're excited to be here.
Yep. And I agree. So today, pretty much, we're going to be, like I said, every lecture we do at least 3 surahs. Sometimes if the conversation discussion get too long, we'll do maybe 1 or 2. So today we're going to be covering Surah AL-HUMAZAH, 104. If I'm butchering that, you can forgive me. The slanderers or the backbiters, right? I think that's what it is, right? So, and then we have Surah Al-Qadr, which is chapter 97, the night of the decree. And also we have Surah Al-Bayna, which is clear evidence or clear proof. And we're going to be covering those 3 surahs today. And then we're going to take a quiz at the end, hopefully, if we have enough time. But yeah, welcome. Let's start.
Enjoy. What we're about to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about to get started. The first surah that we're going to cover, Humazah.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a video that is currently, we have a video that's gonna go through and play and whatnot, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards.
Yeah. All right, let's get it.
Al-Humazah, the Backbiters, is chapter 104 in the Quran. This Meccan chapter addresses those who mock and slander others, especially those who've accumulated wealth and feel like they can get away with it. The chapter begins with Waylun likulli humazatin lumazah. Woe to every backbiter, slanderer. Wayl refers to a valley in hellfire and serves as a warning of a severe punishment to those who backbite and slander others. الذي جمع مالا وعدده, who amasses wealth greedily and counts it repeatedly. يحسب أن ماله أخلده, thinking that their wealth will make them immortal. كلا لينبذن في الحطمة. Not at all. Such a person will certainly be tossed into the crusher. وما أدراك ما الحطمة. And what will make you realize what the crusher is? نار الله الموقدة. It is Allah's kindled fire. A fire that no one can escape or put out. التي تطلع على الأفئدة, which rages over the hearts. A fire that targets each heart, knowing exactly how much hatred and slander it holds for others, and the amount of punishment it deserves. إنها عليهم مؤصدة. It will be sealed over them, meaning they are trapped with nowhere to go. في عمد ممددة. Tightly secured with long braces, making their punishment continuous and ongoing. The chapter serves as a warning to those who sit on their wealth, feeling untouchable, and who slander and backbite others, that Allah's punishment will indeed be severe, and there's no escaping it. Help us create more videos by visiting our website today and contributing to our mission and project.
What's your first take?
My first take is it's very direct. So in this case, even though there are a lot of different metaphors, but it's very direct in a sense of like, and very clear of, you know, you shouldn't backbite And on top of that, like, I think the added on aspect of, you know, someone who's powerful or has money, backbiting, it's kind of like sometimes when people, you know, are greedy or when they're very, very well off, they forget that, you know, everything that they have is by way of God, and they forget to be grateful. And so with that, they then almost lose themselves and think they're better than other people. Because I think like that's what I really got from it is because of your, whether it's social standing or privilege or whatever, thinking you're better than others, and as such looking down on others and backbiting, so to speak. So like, you know, talking about people behind their backs and criticizing them, you know, in a negative way and things like that. Because you feel like you're so beyond and so above. So that's what I got from it.
Yes, I think we talked about this a few years ago, with Gradam and stuff like that. We did a tafsir room. So the context of the surah is to warn against negative behavior like spreading gossip, using profanity, and accumulating wealth. It also condemned those who slander others and believe that the wealth will protect them from death. The surah described the fate of hell that awaits them. Some of the key points are Surah AL-HUMAZAH is a Maki surah, meaning that it was revealed in the early Mecca. It criticized the materialistic holders of wealth who were prevalent in pre-Islamic days. It emphasized the destructive nature of spreading gossip and false accusation. It served as a reminder to be cautious with our words and to refrain from harming others through slanders and backbiting. So, example of what is criticized: engaging in disruptive behavior, spreading negative information, using profanity excessively, accumulating wealth, insulting others, whether via word or deed, believing that their money would protect them from death. This is like this happened every day, whether it's the money part or the gossiping part or the profanity, accumulating wealth, and also the what's the other word I'm looking for? So the profanity, gossip, and the gossiping, which we all do, and a false accusation. That one right there, that's something I don't like when people like, because I've been on the other end of that, and I know how that made me feel. When somebody made a false accusation against me in the second grade, I didn't forget. I remember the guy's name. I remember what I was accused of, and everything. To me, that's one thing I hate the most. Even if it's the smallest thing, because of like trauma, like what happened, being falsely accused. Even if it's like somebody's joking, like, oh, he did it and I didn't do it, that bothers me a lot. So I think like that's warranted in terms of like, you shouldn't make false accusation about other people. I think people should like pay for that. If you ruin somebody's life by making false accusation, I think it should be a way for you to repay back to that person or whatever, back to society or whatever, but not in any gruesome way. I feel like you should come out and either apologize and make things right, you know. But yeah.
What about backbiting? Do you feel the
backbiting, which everybody's guilty of backbiting.
But do you feel like it's right or wrong?
That's a good question. So let's get into back. So when you're backbiting, is it just gossiping?
Yeah, like I
because I'm kind of on the fence on that.
I think I'm
on the fence on that.
And Mariam, if you have something to say, I know you're busy right now, so just want to we're not hogging the conversation, but I think. So backbiting, essentially, yeah, you're like talking junk about someone behind their back. You know, yeah. I don't know if there's a, and I feel like we did talk about this during like the Tafsir room, maybe last year or the year before, whichever one it was, of like perhaps there's a difference when it comes to when you're making constructive comments, like when you're talking about, like, let's say we're talking about something that someone says, like we're talking about facts. This is what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
I'm not saying like, okay, I'm not talking junk about that person. So I feel, and I definitely want people to let me know, and this is something I want to actually also take back for homework and for myself, but I want to understand more is what is considered backbiting. Like if let's say you weren't there, right, and something happened somewhere, and I come back and I'm telling you like, oh, this is what happened. Like this person said this, and then this person said this, and then this person said this, and then this person said this, right? Like, so number one, that's just me recounting what happened. So I feel like that's not backbiting. I feel like that's kind of like I'm telling history of what happened. Now, given the fact that we're humans and things like that, like people see things in their own viewpoint, and the words that they may use may be based on their own biases. But nevertheless, I'm not necessarily like giving an opinion on it. And then the second thing is, let's say, for example, something political happens, and then it's a discussion in a classroom and or somewhere, and you're talking, and then there's a conversation, because even in classrooms they have this, right? Like in political science or whatever. Like, what do you guys think about this? What are the pros and cons? Do you agree? Do you disagree? When you agree with something, you talk about, here are the reasons I agree. When you disagree with something, you talk about, here are the reasons I disagree, right? And in the reasons you disagree, you're laying out like, because of this, because of that, and here's my opinion because of it. I feel like that they did this and they shouldn't have done this because this is the impact of this, blah 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 blah. So like, again, trying to understand, would that, like, to me, I feel like that doesn't necessarily constitute as backbiting, because we're having a discussion about something and I'm giving my opinion in terms of like whether I agree, disagree, and then here are the reasons why, and here are my thoughts about it, right?
Yeah.
Now, if let's say I have a friend or someone that's not a friend or whatever, and I'm not necessarily talking about like from a what's the word that I'm looking for? From a constructive standpoint of like, and an objective standpoint of, here's where this person can kind of improve, and here are some of the flaws, and then this from a constructive standpoint, right? And then like an objective standpoint, like if it's this person is ugly, or they're this, or they're like more less constructive and objective, and more like making fun of the person or spreading rumors about the person, right? Like saying something that they didn't say, they do like they think they're all that and this, and like kind of like it's less constructive and more so like true gossip of like just slandering the person. I think that's considered backbiting, in my opinion. And I do honestly think that like it is something that is wrong. I don't necessarily think, and I personally have my, I have my opinions about it, but I don't necessarily enjoy, like I feel like it is wrong to me. I feel like, and that comes from like a feeling inside of me that like makes me feel uncomfortable and makes me feel wrong. And even if I am participating, because like you said, everyone's human, and certain topics come up, and maybe of someone that you don't know, whatever, blah blah blah. But like, there is a huge part of me that's kind of like avoiding to engage in that type of conversation for a long time, right? Like there are people where like that's most of their conversations, like with their friends or with whoever. That is most of their conversation and topics are topics of others and backbiting of others. No progressive, no like constructive, no other type of conversation that's like, yo, what are you talking about that's actually helping you in your life? Like all they sit and like on the phone and at their job, whatever, is to they thrive from just sitting there and backbiting people. To me, I definitely think that they are being the ones that are warned here, because you sit, especially if they feel like they're better than people. So you sit and you just kind of just, you know, continue off and just about people and stuff. So I definitely feel like there are levels to it. You know, we're all humans and things like that. But there are people who also take it to the extreme, whereas like their whole friendships groups are based on backbiting. Without, if someone were to say like, okay, remove a topic of talking about anyone, they probably wouldn't have much to say, except like, how is the weather? Because no one has anything actual really real to say, you know? And I think that can actually be dangerous, and that can hinder someone's growth and productivity. Because if the only thing you really, like, if there's nothing else you're having conversations about, that's all you're surrounding yourself with, how much growth are you actually doing, you know? How much are you actually self-reflecting? How much are you holding up a mirror and talking about yourself? Here's where I need to be improving. Because if you're too busy talking about where the lack of other people, when are you actually self-reflecting to talk about yourself and what you need to do? Yeah. And here are my goals, and there's none of that conversation going on with some people, so.
Yeah, so one thing you mentioned, you said that if you're talking about something that's like factual, is that considered backbiting, right?
Yeah, I personally don't think that it is.
Okay, so I'm looking at it, it said backbiting, the act of speaking negatively about someone in their absence is forbidden, haram, and can include gossiping, spreading rumors, or discussing someone's fault. Example of backbiting, saying something negative about a Muslim in a group chat where they are a member but not present. Telling someone that you saw another person do something they didn't want you to tell anyone about. Mentioning that a Muslim brother is stingy, why is backbiting forbidden, blah, 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 things like that. So partially that also is considered like backbiting.
The interesting part of what you read is sharing something that someone didn't want you to share, right?
That's one part.
And which I agree with, because this is my secret, this is something that happened, and it's a betrayal, right? What is it sharing something someone did in the public, and it's like history, like, oh, you know, this person got potato chips, and, you know, they ate a salad yesterday, and then they had a burger for dinner. Like, I'm telling you, just like, okay, you know, that's what everyone in the classroom had. Like, or I'm telling you, know, so-and-so had this, so-and-so had this, so-and-so had this, so-and-so had this. So to me, I don't think that that's backbiting, because I'm just telling you an account of like what everyone ate yesterday for dinner.
Okay. You're done? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it doesn't matter if you're stating the facts. If you're saying, yo, yeah, we all ate a burger, you're not saying anything negative about the person.
Yeah.
So whenever you say anything negative about the person and they're not present, it's considered backbiting. Mm-hmm. So whether it's facts that he's a thief, he's this, he's that, you're not saying in front of them is backbiting.
Okay, so then when let's say we watch the news and we see like a bank robbery, and then we have a conversation about it. Oh my goodness, the person went here, and then they did this, and then they did that. Like, is that backbiting against that person?
I think you're stretching it, because it would be like maybe within your community, within a group of people that you're with.
Like personal.
Yeah, or whatever, or somebody that you know, or somebody you don't have to be like really close to associate, somebody in the community. Because if you're talking about a news, like that's like stretching it. That's like trying to that's like you saying, I'm just talking. Mm-hmm. When saying that, yo, we had burgers today, is just talking. A news, you don't know the person, you're talking about what's being reported, right? In that sense of that's not your community, that's just something on TV or whatever the case may be. Because that's the case, everybody backbites. Let's just say everybody does it. Everybody have done it. Some people do it more frequently than others. But we all do it. So saying that I'm just stating the facts can be negative. Mm-hmm. I think the absence of the person that's being talked about in a negative light is considered backbiting. Mm-hmm. So
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys think it's only backbiting if you're talking negatively about a person? That's the only time it's backbiting?
That's according to what we read. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because that's because Yeah, because I'm thinking if it's something good about the person, like, oh, guess what happened to this person? They got this award and she's happy about it. Da, da, da.
That's not backbiting.
Yeah.
Because Auntie, I can read something for you that it states. It say like backbiting in Islam is the act of speaking negatively about someone in their absence. It's forbidden. It's haram. It can include gossiping, spreading rumors, or discussing someone's fault. Saying something negative about a Muslim in a group chat where they are a member of a member but they're not present is considered backbiting. Telling someone that you saw another person do something that they didn't want you to tell anyone about is also considered backbiting. So if you're talking negative, anything that's like in a negative way, I think in Islam it kind of allows like negative energy and positivity. I mean, not negative energy, positive energy, and things like that. So yeah, that would be considered.
Yeah, because a while ago I was listening to someone. They're like, oh, if it's only backbiting if you're afraid to say it to the person's face. So like, let's say I say something about you behind your back. If I'm able to say that same thing in front of your face, then it doesn't count as backbiting. I don't know if that makes sense.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Is it? He's saying if you're able to, like, if you're not afraid to say it in front of the person's face, or if you have said it already in front of the person's face,
and then you go back and say it behind their back after you said it in front of their face.
Yeah, which one?
No, like let's say I'm gossiping with you. I'm like, oh my God, so Dauda is X, Y, and Z, right? Mm-hmm. And Dauda is not there. Mm-hmm. If I can say to Dauda, like, Dauda, you're X, Y, and Z, then it doesn't count as backbiting because I will say it to your face regardless of whether you're there or not. It's only backbiting if I'm saying things about you that I would never say to your face.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
When you have said it to his face already, or you're not afraid to...
She's not afraid.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know the difference, but I don't know. That's what I was asking because I'm like, I don't know if that's like a technicality to make people feel better because like Dauda said earlier, everyone gossips, everyone backbites, everyone like says something about someone that they would not necessarily say to the, like, I feel like there are people that will say it to your face, but for the most part, everyone talks about someone else, sometimes in a positive, sometimes in a negative way, right?
Exactly.
So no one is exempt from gossiping or from backbiting. So I feel like, I don't know if it's like a way that it's like a loophole that people said to make themselves feel better, or what, I don't know. But I've heard people say that before.
Yeah. So I think what I got from what you said is like, sometimes people be like, I say it behind your back, but I also say it in front of your face because I'm not afraid. So therefore, it's not backbiting because I'll do it in whatever the case may be. Either way, I'm gonna do it in front of you or behind you. So if the person is aware of that, maybe is that, yeah, I know he's talking about my back, but I know he was saying it in front of my face. Would that be considered not backbiting? One, and two, it's like I also look at it the way I look at it is like, dude, everybody done missed prayers before. Like nobody pray on time all the time, right? You gotta miss prayer. Sometimes you might miss prayer. Sometimes you might go a day. Maybe you might miss one prayer, whatever the case may be, or you might make it up later, whatever. So I kind of look at it like that. Sometimes it's like everybody's gonna backbite, right? Like it's just universal. But I think it's like try not to do it frequently and
right.
Try to be aware of it, like, oh, okay, like maybe I'm doing too much, right? But if you're talking negatively about someone behind their back, whether you feel like you're gonna say it, you can say it in front of them or not, it's still considered backbiting. That's like saying, like, whether if he's here or not, I'm still gonna rob him. At the end of the day, you still robbed him. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like I look at it like, okay, if you're talking negative about somebody, it's backbiting, whether they're here, whether they're not here. At the end of the day, you're backbiting, regardless of the case. If you're talking positively about the person, I don't think that's considered backbiting.
Yeah. I think if it's positive, it's not considered backbiting. And I think to your point, they probably said it to make it more modernized of like, okay, yeah, it's fine, or if it's okay. Because I personally don't think that, like, I don't think it's okay.
There's an exception though.
What?
So for example, if auntie tell you something like, oh my God, I just won $1 million, but don't tell nobody, right? It's like you telling people that she won $1 million. That's not negative, but she trusted you with something she didn't want you to tell other people, because that can affect her, right? Because people can go, oh, let me get some money. Oh, I heard this, boom. So that could be considered backbiting, which is something it's not negative, right? Because you won $1 million and you entrusted your friend with something that's good for you. But if they share that information, it's not a negative information. right? But it can affect your life by other people being in your business, because it does mention that about like engaging in disruptive behavior, spreading negative information. Well, in this case, the information is not negative, but it can affect your life, which you told
in a negative manner.
Yeah. So so the positive can turn into a negative based on what other people do with the information. So
Yeah, I think it's just like backbiting in general is a very bad habit.
Yeah.
That is, I feel like it's so hard to get rid of.
Yeah, I honestly though, I think that like,
Because when you think about it, sometimes you don't even think about like what you're saying. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just say things and it's not like you're being mean or like you mean it in like a malicious way, but you're just talking, you know?
yeah.
And you're most times you're speaking to like, you know, your close friends, or like, you know, if you're married, you're speaking to your husband or to your wife. So you're not necessarily thinking about it in that like negative manner. Yeah. But if you sit back and you think, it's like, okay, this is like a really bad habit that everyone has.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep, I agree.
And that's one thing, honestly, like, I feel like I want to definitely continue. It's one thing I think it's important to continue to try to be conscious of it. And like when you're in situations and like have it be, like when you're in situations where certain things are coming up and whatever else, like cause I feel like some of us have been in situations where someone will start talking about someone that like we're actually cool with, right? Or like someone that like, it's not like, okay, like you have no feeling towards that person one way or another. And then like, I feel like there's and I don't know, at least for me, and let me know if you guys is the same, but there's something internally that, like, to your point, Mariam, if you're talking to your husband or you're talking to your friend and it's someone that, like, let's say has done wrong to both of you guys, you may not even catch yourself, right? But if, let's say someone talks about someone that like either you're cool with or someone that you're indifferent about, right? Like you never have had a negative experience with the person, right? There is something internally that like feels like uncomfortable. Like that feels like I really do not want to be engaged in this conversation, right? And you feel this is wrong, especially let's say if it's someone that's talking about your best friend or someone that's talking about your friend. You have that feeling of like, even if whatever you're saying is true, this is wrong, and we shouldn't be having this conversation without the person around.
Yep.
And I feel like that natural feeling that we have, like. It almost aligns with what the Quran is saying, because it like that we naturally have that like this is wrong, but that feeling kind of goes a little bit away when it's someone that has done wrong with us, because of, I feel like, inherent biases that we have towards that person.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So like almost naturally your body tells you this is wrong, but if you have a bias towards the person, like it's almost like you're blinded in that moment.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's true. That's very true.
So yeah, so I guess a good way of like, you know, checking on your heart posture and checking on like your conscience is, hold on, let me pause. Let me replace the name of this person with my best friend. Would I be comfortable with this conversation right now? And if the answer is no, then it kind of is like, yeah, I should probably...
You probably shouldn't have him that conversation.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, that was good. So I can remember one. Yeah, that's perfect. So that was a good one. These short...
Do you feel like you're gonna... What do you feel conclusion-wise? Like, do you feel like this makes you want to backbite less, or makes you want to, like, just... Because also, you know, everyone does do it, but you know, one can help.
It's not an excuse.
I think I don't think it changed my perspective on it's gonna change my ways in terms of just that backbiting part. I think I'm just doing fine. I think I understand, like, I'm human. I understand that we're all gonna make mistake, and like as long as you're aware of what you're doing and try to like work on it, that's fine. And I think like I would talk like negatively about my friends, but in a way to uplift them, but also like
and to them.
Yeah, I would have the same conversation with them. And if it's like people that that I'm not really cool with, which we don't even. The funny thing about us, I'm saying I don't plan on changing anything. We barely talk about them.
Yeah, because
Like-
when you're so busy and when you're doing
Yeah.
other things, you really don't
So-
have time.
Yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
randomly I would think of, but besides that, I don't really think about it. Or something come up, I'm like, oh yeah, that ugly person or whatever the case may be. But it's just I
Right.
think that's just a human part of it. So I think like God do want us to like reach for. He know we're not perfect. You can try to reach for for perfection, but you only can do your best. I think as long as you have that in mind, you're good. So after this, I'm probably gonna backbite tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, every year, for me at the beginning of every year, I say, this is the year I'm not going to talk about a single person. Like, I don't know if you're not there, I'm not going to talk about you.
Yep.
And every year I hit the 3-month mark, like every year till I get to March, I do so good. And then after March, I don't know what happens. I don't know. And it's not that like, Daughter said, it's not like I sit there and I just like talk about people all day, every day. It just like, it would just come up in conversation, like randomly, like, oh, did you hear X, Y, Z happen to so? I'd be like, oh my God, I always knew that might happen. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's not like, it's not like you like sit down like and intentionally do it. It just
Yep.
comes about because of life,
Yep.
And even your everyday life, you could come home and be like, oh my goodness, the coworker bothered me, or oh my goodness, this person that
Exactly.
that did this, like to release your stress, to like But that's a good plan. That's a good intention, though. I've never actually like, hey, I'm gonna go this long.
Nah, that's a punishment.
I might, you know what? I might do that. Okay, for the rest of the year, other than you, I will try to be intentional and not backbite with anyone else.
I think that's what it really.
Because with you, like, I have to complain sometimes, like, oh my goodness, the contractor is like taking forever.
That's not backbiting. That's business.
But if you think about it, the person that you should be saying that you don't want to backbite with is Daughter, because if you really sit down and think about it, he's probably the only person you do backbite with anyway.
It's true.
Like other than your brothers or like
nope, not even them.
Your husband, who are you really gossiping with if you really sit down and think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And but there's a difference between backbiting and discussions. I think we have discussions about people, but we don't backbite. And if you think about it, every day, every Auntie Mariam, she coming backbite. She talk about her kids being like not listening to her, stuff like that. Then it does it. We backbite about our mom.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So it's like every day. Even yesterday, we was talking about my mom, and we were talking about Nimsa's mom. Like,
no, we weren't.
We were backbiting.
No, we were not.
So people, we all do that. We talk about each other's mom.
I do not talk about your mom. Let me put that on record.
No. What I'm saying, like you complain about your mom to me, I'll complain about my mom.
I don't
to you.
complain about my mom, and I don't listen to you complain about your mom. If you complain about your mom, I will stop you right then and there.
No.
I'll be like, I'm the wrong person. Don't talk to me about that.
It's okay. We on camera, so I get what they doing. That was good. Yeah, good, Auntie. You were saying something?
No, I'm saying this was a good discussion. I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, you should have been here yesterday. Yesterday discussion was...
yesterday was so profound. We had to leave with homework because it was just intense.
It was.
Yesterday, I don't even know what I was doing. I can't even tell you what I was doing. Oh, I had to go see my mom. That's where I was. I was with my mom yesterday.
You actually came up on here and you was in here and you left.
You know what happened? I joined and I couldn't see anyone. All I was seeing was this screen right here. It just said view. So I was like, maybe I'm in the wrong place.
No.
So then I left and I went to see my mom. And then I came back and it was too late.
Yeah. We saw you in here. I think somebody said hi. When you usually see this, we're watching a video. So I think we came up with the idea. Yep. To watch.
Okay, because I came in and I saw this, and I was like, maybe I'm here on the wrong day, because I didn't see anything. I didn't go on the group chat, so I was like, let me just try. And then I saw this, and I was like, oh, wrong day, and I left.
Yeah. So now we just decided to start playing the video and also listen. I think it's better that way. Or we just reading it, and then we got ugly voice and stuff like that. We can't, so. This would be perfect.
Yeah, unless we have people that can come and volunteer and that are really good and stuff like that, like your husband or even Aisha's kids did it the first days and stuff like that. So
we're gonna try to get it. Imam.
Us, if it's just us, we'll just do the video.
Yep.
Right. No, but it's fun. I like this. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, and I've been learning a lot.
So try to remember, because there's a lot of quiz that's coming up. So try to remember.
When is it? The quizzes are tomorrow?
We're doing one tomorrow. Is it tomorrow, Sunday?
I think we were gonna do Sunday. We'll put it in the group chat.
Yeah, we'll put it in the
We're
group
gonna
chat.
do
But just
tomorrow or
remember,
Sunday.
at the beginning of every lecture, we're gonna take a quiz, and at the end, we're gonna take one. The first one is gonna be about the one we did before, and then the last one is gonna be the one we do that day. So just shout out where. So yep.
Me too.
A lot of it makes sense. So we can kind of wrap it up here.
Yes. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below, and definitely reach out if you want to be part of the next conversation. And we are really like trying to be very intentional this Ramadan to learn, to gain new perspective, to get answers, questions answered, and to really like this is all our journey, understanding things and figuring it out and understanding what it means to you and whatever else. So
yeah, I agree. Like you said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also join our Discord.
Hold of your iman, don't give in to shaitan. Oh, you who believe, please give thanks to Allah. Allahu Ghafoor, Allahu Rahim, Allahu yuhibbul muhsinin. هو خالقنا هو رازقنا وهو على كل شيء قدير. Allah is Ghafoor, Allah is Rahim, Allah is the one who loves the Muhsinin. He is our creator, He is our sustainer, and He is the one who has power over all. Give thanks to Allah for the